Following the fall of Atlanta under Sherman, Sherman's going to be asked by a newspaper reporter, "General, where are you going to go next?" Sherman, first of all, hates the press, and he even tries to court-martial a newspaper reporter. But nonetheless, he just mutters something about salt water, but no one really understands what he means. Of course, he does. What he's going to do is he's going to make Georgia howl. He's going to basically just make this war as hellish as possible. We talk about the concepts of total war, and the Civil War, particularly by the time you get to 1864-65, is certainly going to be much more of a total war than it ever was. And so, let's define it a little bit. We typically think about two different definitions, but it doesn't mean that you can have one or the other. It's just two distinct definitions. One is which is basically war against everything. All right, the civilian population and the army. And then, of course, you have a war. Another element of total war is when you have the entire nation basically behind it. Everything that the nation does at a collective level is geared towards the war. For example, the United States stops making automobiles by Ford and Chevrolet during World War II, and instead those same factories are now producing tanks and airplanes. That's the type of thing I'm talking about, total war. Can you have both at the same time? Yes, they are not mutually exclusive. But nonetheless, Sherman's March to Sea is the greatest event when it comes to the totality of the Civil War. Basically what he does is he takes his army and he spreads it about 60 miles and just tells it, march that way. March towards Savannah, Georgia. He cuts off his supplies, tells his good friend Ulysses S. Grant, guess what? You're not going to hear from me for a while. Trust me, I know what I'm doing, but you're not really going to hear from me. And then what does he do? He basically lives off the land. And he marches from Atlanta to Savannah, appearing basically again in December of 1864. He's basically living off the land, taking anything that could be useful to the Confederacy as a war good for his own army, or just absolutely burns it. When he appears once again, it'll be just outside of Savannah, and in fact, in a very dramatic moment, he is going to telegraph the President of the United States, and he basically says, "To His Excellency the President of the United States, I present to you as a Christmas present the city of Savannah, Georgia." The Sherman's March to the Sea is the greatest event when it comes to the totality of the Civil War. If you want to point to a total war example with the American Civil War, this is your best bet. It also shows that the South is powerless to stop anything that the Union is doing. We can do whatever we want, and you can't stop us. It demoralizes Georgia, and Sherman makes good on his promise to make Georgia howl.